What's up, everyone? So in my last couple of videos, I've talked about my experience being a new collector and how overwhelming it can be when you're first starting off, as well as how to begin a new collection in Pokemon. So today we're going to be taking it a step further, and I'm going to be walking you through exactly what I did to prepare for Collecticon. That way it'll make your experience at your next card show as flawless as possible. So going into Collecticon, I knew I did not want to spend over MSRP for sealed products that are still getting printed right now. So I decided to shift my focus to buying a bunch of singles, things like full arts and illustration rares that were sitting below the $10 market price. There are a few cards that I picked over that price point, but as any collector would tell you, collect what you like. So for me, it was okay just to choose a couple cards that were above that $10 mark. So two of the main websites I like to use to compare prices is Pokedata and PKMN. The cool thing about PKMN is that you can make a list and you get one free list there. Unfortunately, they don't have an app, whereas Pokedata does. However, with Pokedata, to make a list, you have to be a paid member. So the main difference for Pokedata and PKMN is Pokedata has price points from eBay as well as TCG Player, whereas PKMN mostly gets it from TCG Player. Both have their plus and minuses. A lot of collectors, when they're selling their cards, they will choose one or the other. So it's important to know both ways so that you can know the price point more or less. So it's up to you where you want to get your prices from. Either way, if everyone has smartphones, so you can just use your browser to look these prices up. So let's start off with Pokedata, and we could go to all sets and choose a set that interests you. One of the latest ones is the Surging Spark, so we could click on that, and then we'll start looking for cards that are within our price point that look interesting to you and that you feel like you want to collect. So this Latias EX looks pretty cool, but if you want to make a list, we could do this exact thing on PKMN. So I already have a profile there, and you guys can either do something similar where you click on each set and see what you want to find. But the first thing to do is to make a new list. So I already have my old Collecticon list, but we'll make a new list. We'll choose dynamic because this lets you choose more than one card. So it's good if you want to get multiples of each card. So we'll choose that. We'll call this new collector. And we will create the list. All right, so there's two ways to add cards to your list. You can go directly from this and click on add new cards to your list, but you do have to know the names of each set. And if you don't know when things came out, then it makes it a little bit harder to figure out which are recent sets, and therefore typically will have cheaper cards. So if you don't know where to start, then the easiest way is to go back to your profile, and then you go to each era. So we talked about Surging Sparks. Let's click on Surging Sparks, and we'll change it to price, and we'll change the price with the arrow down to show you the most expensive cards, and we'll look for that Latias. So here it is. It already shows that I have two because I did make it for my previous one, but you can add this to a different list if you want. And when you click on the card, you're going to click on this add to list, and it'll ask you which list you want to add it to. So we could add it to this new collector list. And you can keep going down the list to see if there's any other cards that you really like. So you could keep looking down your list. This Alolan Dugtrio always reminds me of like a Hawaiian surfer, or just like very much island vibes. So we can add this to new collector. And you could just keep going down the list. And if nothing else really catches your eye, then you could go back to your profile. And again, if you don't really know the names of the sets, then this is a good way to start, because we're in Scarlet and Violet, and that's the most recent set that's still getting printed. We'll go to the next set, which is Stellar Crown, and then we'll set it by price again. And we'll try to find cards that are in our price range. So let's say this rat boot, you like this one, and we're just gonna add that to our list, to new collector. All right, so let's choose a couple more cards here. We're in Twilight Masquerade now. And again, just see what really catches your eye. So for our price point, we're going to be looking around here. And maybe this pincer is a little bit above what we want, but that's okay. We'll still add it. Let's go to some older sets. Let's see some Obsidian Flames here. And this Houndour looks super cute. It has a bunch of puppies. So we'll add this one to our list as well. So the great thing about making lists is that you could always edit them. So for me, when I saw this card in person, it really made me laugh just because of how funny the Lechonk looks. He's so full from eating all that food. So I knew I had to get it. And on the spot, I just added this to my collection. So that's a great thing about making these lists, is that you could always change your mind. So right now, we can go to my list on this left side panel, and you can see what you have so far. New collector. We have about 4 cards. Some of them are a little bit more expensive, but like I said, if you really like a card, then it's okay to go over. And the cool thing about this is when you click on this, you could add how many you have. So you could do 1, 2, or 3, whatever it is that you want to collect. Right now we have none of those, so we'll go take it back to 0. And like I said, when you're looking at prices, this actually takes you to TCG Player. So that's one way to look at last sold. And you're going to see that for near mint, that's what you want. And you want English, so you make sure that's on. It's going to be about $9.95. But most people, what they do, they go to last sold. So you're going to go to your history here with the more data. And you're going to see that most of these cards were, well, it depends. There was one at $8. So online, things could go up and down as well. So you just kind of want to see what the average is for some of these cards. So the good thing is you could also go to eBay, and this will show you what cards are going for at the moment. However, if you do want to search for recently sold, you probably want to take all these words out and just have the name of the card and the set. So Surging Sparks, and it is a 208, so we'll take all these quotation marks. I think it makes it a little bit harder. And then you can go to the left panel here and click on last sold. So go all the way sold items, and then you can see what people have been paying recently. So that's another good way to check on the prices of your cards that you're trying to get. But PKMN does a pretty good job. Their market price is about $6. These last sold are a little bit higher. So this isn't always the most correct price. It just kind of takes an average. So the thing about this list is it really helped me stay on track and just focus on getting the cards that I chose for the card show. And again, if you see some cards in person that you really like, you could always change your mind. That's a good thing about this. But if you have a list already of the cards that you want, then it does make it a little bit easier when you go to these shows or to your card shops, because you can show the vendors exactly what you're looking for, and they'll usually tell you if they have it or not. And just remember, guys, try to make it fun for yourself. Engage with other collectors and see what they're doing, and that way you can get some ideas from other people. You can go out there, start making your own list, set your own criteria. It will make your experience a little bit easier next time you're shopping around for some cards. And if you found this useful, please like, share, and comment. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be putting out more videos in the future, and I will show you guys some of the transactions that occurred at Collecticon, so you can see what my collection was and what I was able to pick up. Well, you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time.